everyone, this is Paige. In this video I'm just giving you a brief tour of Excel. This is Excel version 2016 on Windows. If you have the Mac version, it'll look a little bit different. First, I'd just like to show you the tabs along the top. Each of these tabs has different menu options. We'll mainly use things on the Home tab, but we'll also be using Data a little bit in this class. And the File tab on the far left here, the one that's green, this is also where you can open other files or save this file, export it, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and save this sample file just so that you can see what that looks like. And now that it's saved, you can see that the title of the file is up at the top there. Now in the main part of our Excel spreadsheet, we have a bunch of cells. So the whole format of a spreadsheet is that we've got cells where we can enter in data. This can be numbers, this can be text, it can be formulas, all kinds of different things. And we can also format these and do all kinds of stuff with them. But each one comes in a column. The columns are labeled with letters, A, B, C, D. If you click on the letter itself, you can highlight a whole column. Similarly, the rows are labeled with numbers, and if you click on one of these numbers, you can highlight the whole row. Otherwise, if you click on a particular spot, it will just take you to that cell. You can go in and type something or edit what's there. And by pressing Enter or Tab or using the arrow keys, you can also navigate between the cells. Now, if you want to be typing something longer, or if you want to edit a cell that's already been created, if you click on that cell, you'll notice that the text is in what's called the formula bar here. And if I click up in the formula bar, I can edit what's previously there without just typing over the cell itself. So the formula bar is useful, especially if you have a lot more text. You can also resize it if you need a little bit more space, although typically we're not putting a lot of text in any one of these cells. Down along the bottom, you'll notice that this spreadsheet has a little tab, and right now it's just called Sheet 1. If you click on the little plus sign next to it, we can create other what Excel calls sheets. Click this plus and I get another sheet. So these are both going to be in the same document. When I save them, they're both part of this test file Excel workbook, but the different sheets can help you organize data into different spreadsheets. If you do use several different worksheets, it can be helpful to rename them rather than just Sheet 1, Sheet 2. If you right-click on the sheet name, there is a rename option there, and then I could relabel it. Just a few other things I'll point to in what's called the ribbon. So depending upon which of these little tabs we select, there's a bunch of different options that show up in what's called the ribbon. So for example, if I'm looking at a cell with some text in it, I can change the font of that cell, I can change the font size, just like you would in Microsoft Word or some other editor. You can highlight the cell, change the color, you can change the borders. So for example, if I have a few cells put together and I want to add borders around them, you'll notice now there's some black lines going around those boxes. So that's all pretty useful. You can copy and paste cells or text. You can change alignment within the cell. So for example, numbers in Microsoft Excel tend to be aligned to the right, and text tends to be aligned to the left, but you could always change that. If I want this number on the left, I could change my alignment there. Another formatting thing that's going to be really useful in this class is this drop down in the number format. So if I have this 12 here, the default is just sort of a general format that doesn't specify anything. but I could specifically say that this is a number, and then Excel gives me control over how many decimal places it has with this handy increase and decrease decimal buttons. Or I could convert this to, say, a currency like a dollar amount, or if you're working with times and things like that, there's some different formatting options. We will typically just use the number formatting for this class, number or text, but that's just something to be aware of there. Another key feature on the home ribbon is the sort and filter option. This can help you sort data from smallest to largest, or use filters. I won't get into all of those here, but that's something that I use frequently in Excel. One last comment, down at the bottom right, you can change the magnification or the size for everything. So if you're working on a large screen and your text is just a little bit too small, feel free to change this slider and pick something that works well for you. One more thing I forgot to mention in my first recording is how to change the size of cells. So if you want to make any particular column bigger or smaller, what you want to do is put your mouse over the right-hand edge of that column, and it'll turn into this little bar with arrows on both sides, and then you can click and drag the width to make the column wider or smaller. So if your data is a little bit wider than the current cell, that's a good way to handle that. And you can do the same thing with rows. So if my row needs to be a little taller, I can change the height in the same kind of way. You'd be grabbing the bottom edge rather than the top edge to change that. And if you do have a cell that's been resized larger that you wanted to add extra text to, you'll notice that the default is just to have the text keep going in a line, but you can change this by setting wrap text. So this is in the alignment area, this little button here, wrap text, and that will create more of like a paragraph format within the cell. If you do this for longer text, you do need to resize the height and width to fit it, but that can be handy sometimes. All right, that's it for my introduction. Thanks for watching. Bye.